How's it going, folks? So, there's been a massive meltdown by many people over Elon Musk finally buying Twitter. And at best, many of these complaints, if not all of them, are either unfounded or, at worst, these are powerful people who want to keep more of a monopoly on the flow of information. These are authoritarians that want to maintain their control over you. They want to take the voice away from the little guys that they don't support and don't agree with. But I'm going to go over some of these points that were brought up. I'm going to explain why they're non sequitur, incorrect, or they're being outright deceitful or manipulative. Let's start off with the first one. Well, a billionaire is going to own Twitter. Well, newsflash, a billionaire or several billionaires already owned Twitter before Elon Musk bought the shares. Billionaires and millionaires own several things that the average person doesn't get to own. Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post, yet I hear almost no complaints, if any, about that. I mean, we have 95% of the media that gets disseminated, I think, worldwide is controlled by like 6 different corporations. Or it could be just the U.S. Probably just the U.S. Excuse me, let me walk that back a sec. Because I know in China, the CCP controls pretty much all the media there. But I digress. You have maybe 6 corporations that are controlling the narrative or controlling the information flow in the U.S. or the majority of it. Elon Musk buying Twitter and saying, hey, look, this is an information free-for-all, if anything, would be helping the little guy get a voice and counteract some of the stuff that these 6 corporations want to put out. I mean, that's assuming that he does do this and take away all the content moderation and stuff like that. On to the next point. Advertisers pulling out. These very same people are trying to talk with advertisers and trying to see if they can get as many advertisers to pull out of Twitter now that Elon Musk owns it as possible. I mean, these people have the ear of multinational corporations, enough so to convince them to pull advertising from Twitter. And Elon Musk is the danger here. Elon Musk has too much power here. And says the pot calling kettle black, I guess. But no, this isn't anything out of bounds for what we've already been seeing. It's like the petition I saw back in 2017, that wanted Trump to divest all of his assets into a blind trust while he was president. The petition didn't say all presidents from here on out or all Congress creatures, which, by the way, would probably make just as much sense. It was just Trump. These people clearly want rules for some people, but not rules for other people. And they're obvious about it. This is no different with Elon Musk. Freedom of speech. These people act as if Elon Musk, not being as devastating to freedom of speech, not putting as many restrictions or as many censors on freedom of speech, is somehow dangerous. People have a basic right to freedom of speech. And what was bad was when Twitter was censoring certain people and not other people. Because only the powerful at that point got their voices heard. Only the people with influence got their voices heard. And even then, many people with influence, if they didn't have enough influence, still got shut down. It was like if you weren't a member of the establishment, you very well could have your Twitter account shut down like that. I mean, they did so with the president of the United States at the time when they took his account away. So if they're that powerful as is, I don't see how Elon Musk buying Twitter and saying, hey guys, we're going to make some changes here. We're going to make it more of a freedom of speech platform again. I don't see how that's going to do any more damage. And speaking of that, when you censor people, you don't make their opinion go away. In fact, you validate their opinion even more. Because if it was simply not true, you could easily respond to them and say, hey, this is not true and here's why it is. But when you censor them, you make them believe that they're on to something, that they're over the target. When you take away their voice, they're on Twitter, they usually find other places to go. And they usually start speaking with others and start validating their own views even more. Furthermore, once people don't think that their voice is being heard and they're not going to be receiving any more representation, there are a number of people who resort to violence once their speech is stifled. I personally think it's a better idea that they are speaking as opposed to acting in a violent manner. But you know what? I do think many of these people who are complaining that Elon Musk is going to give people their freedom of speech back on Twitter anyway, give them their Twitter accounts back or let them actually speak on Twitter. I got the feeling that those people complaining about that are the very same people that want the people they've censored to react violently, because to them this is an excuse to say, well, you see, we told you so, and exploit the situation for more power and more influence. These people are literally that fucking sick. Elon Musk would be personally responsible for anything said on his platform. Oh, really? And why weren't the CEOs and the moderation team at Twitter held responsible for the defaming of people that they let slide or even endorsed? Maybe not endorsed, but definitely let slide or pushed to the front. Why was that okay? Why was their misinformation okay, but yet somebody probably telling the truth getting censored? Why was that censor worthy? I mean, if Elon Musk is going to have that same level of responsibility, well, then I don't think Elon Musk has a problem, because it doesn't seem like the people running Twitter had any responsibility being put to them at all. Foreign laws. Well, you know what Twitter did? Twitter was censoring people in other countries, and the government asked, and some of the governments in these countries asked them to stop. Some of the regimes in these countries asked them to stop because their supporters were getting censored as well. Now, again, many of these countries are third world despots. That part is true, but you know what? I don't see any difference between them and Twitter, other than Twitter seems to have a bit more power than they did. And the best they could do was simply cut access to Twitter during the election seasons. Which, good on them, because, Twitter was rigging the game in favor of people that they supported and didn't give a damn else about any of the people that didn't agree with the heads of Twitter. So I have to say, I can't say I blame the governments of those countries. Yes, Elon Musk is going to have to deal uh, with some of the laws in some of these other countries, which, again, Twitter being as powerful as it is, I don't think it's going to be much of a problem for Elon. Especially given the fact that Twitter was able to, again, remove the account of a sitting president. So with that being said, I think Elon purchasing Twitter is not going to do any damage. In fact, I think, it only stands to make Twitter better. Oh, and before I go, there was another thing I wanted to bring up too. I almost forgot, but his first move was to fire his CEO and the legal safety yada yada director. Good. They both needed to be fired. You see, the very same people who were complaining about them getting fired and the potential cuts that Elon Musk is going to be making to the staff there are the very same people for years who sat there and said things like, well, freedom of speech does not mean freedom from consequences. And it's perfectly okay for us to get you fired from your job if we don't like what you say. Well, if that's the case, then it's perfectly acceptable for Elon Musk to fire the people that are doing damage to the company he just bought. It's perfectly okay to fire somebody for sucking at their job or being an absolute revenue prevention type of person. So on that one, yeah. Hey, what goes around comes around, doesn't it? And this isn't even them being fired for their political opinions so much as it's being fired for them being fired for abusing their positions at the company. And I imagine, yes, there's probably going to be some more firings come up after the engineers go through all the code that's still up. I'm pretty sure they're going to find something, and they're going to start chopping off some of the moderation staff and some of the other people there that don't really do much in the way of productivity. And that's a good thing. These people were only hurting the company. These people were abusing that little bit of power they had to censor people that they didn't like, while at the same time ignoring people who were doing the exact same thing they were censoring other people for and kicking other people off for, except because they had the right opinion or, they were favored by the right people, they got to stay on. So, yeah, I don't see a problem with these people losing their jobs. Maybe their next jobs, they'll try to work and do their next jobs a bit better. And instead of actually focusing on how they can abuse their position at the company, maybe they'll learn to focus on how they can do their job better and exercise the position as it is supposed to be exercised. So, with that being said, I'm going to wrap this up here. Thank y'all for watching. Y'all have the comment section too. You know me, I'm a free speech type of guy. So y'all take her easy out there and have a great day.